All right, so to begin this presentation, we're going to show video on G.hn technology.
Hi, I'm Sarah from Comtrend, and we're very excited to tell you about a new technology called G.hn, and why it's the new standard in powerline networking. Let's have a look. Wi-Fi is an easy way for you to access the internet, but did you know that household appliances such as cordless phones, microwave ovens, and walls between you and your router can significantly reduce your internet speed? This interference can even result in areas of your home having no access to Wi-Fi. Having a directly wired connection to your devices improves performance and eliminates over-the-air interference. Your fixed devices, such as smart TVs, game consoles, and desktop PCs, can benefit from a reliable direct connection without compromise. However, pulling these wired cables throughout your home, sometimes even drilling holes for them, is extremely troublesome and expensive. A powerline adapter makes it possible to achieve the speed and security of a wired connection anywhere in your home without the messy additional wiring. It uses the existing electrical wires in your home to transform every outlet into an internet access point. Setting up a powerline network is simple. Simply plug in a powerline adapter and connect it to your router. Plug in another powerline adapter anywhere in your home and connect any device to it for a fast internet connection. So powerline is great, but now let's see why Comtrend's G.hn powerline adapter is even better. At Comtrend, we take powerline technology a step further with G.hn. Don't get me wrong, powerline adapters can still face interference, but this time within the electrical wiring. This can come from your air conditioner, your hairdryer, other appliances in your home, and if you live in an apartment or are located within a group of business offices, it could even come from your neighbor's electronics. Fortunately, G.hn was designed to manage interference such as this, which is both common and expected in apartments and small business offices whose living spaces are really close together. Speaking of homes, what's a home today without video entertainment? G.hn specifically aims to provide the best performance possible when it comes to video streaming. Essentially, G.hn detects video data transmission, then figures out what is the fastest rate possible to deliver the best quality video experience. This eliminates the need for multiple resends of information and in turn ensures reliable and pristine video. G.hn combines the accessibility of Wi-Fi and the reliability of direct connections with none of the drawbacks. This enables the G.hn to have the best real-world powerline performance in the market today. I'm Sarah, and this video was brought to you by Comtrend. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.
All right, guys, it looks like just about everyone has now watched the video, so I will hand this over to Rich, who is a product manager at Comtrend, to begin this presentation.
Good morning, everyone. So, we all know the poor history Cat5 cable alternatives have within our industry. Poor performance, unreliable connections, limited range and connectivity. Too much crosstalk has made this technology unsuitable for our applications. Cat5 cable alternatives for video transmissions weren't even an option at this point. The technology failed to deliver in so many promises that many of us likely promised never to consider this type of technology ever again. Well, as you saw from the video, the technology has finally matured to a degree that I can say with confidence that that you guys are going to love the way G.hn has taken Cat5 cabling alternative networking experience to the next level. How is this done? With improvements to the technology. Interference has always been the primary cause of poor performance with Cat5 cable alternative technology. G.hn has overcome this obstacle with the introduction of NDIM, which stands for Neighborhood Domain Interference Mitigation. This technology addresses interference with a two-step approach. If the interference level is low to moderate, G.hn will treat competing domain signals as background noise. If the interference level is high, G.hn will utilize smart network coordination. This network synchronization will coordinate transmissions from competing domains while allowing non-competing domains to transmit without restriction. The competing domains will experience a performance drop, but the stability of the connection will be maintained. These two approaches to noise mitigation will ensure a reliable connection to meet all of your video streaming needs. This leap forward in technology is what makes G.hn the leader in the Cat5 cable alternative world. Now, let's talk about the advantages of G.hn over other technologies. I'm going to start with MoCA. First, there are fewer transmission issues during installation with G.hn. Comtrend's G.hn MIMO transceivers are able to transmit and receive over all 3 power line conductors. This substantially increases the performance, noise immunity, and connection stability. Today, with G.hn, you get superior performance, with performance ranging from 800 megabits up to 1200 megabits. But G.hn doesn't stop there. G.hn offers a commitment to future performance that will provide us with connectivity and performance into the next decade and beyond, with up to 10 gigs of service. Now, I know that it sounds like overkill to have 10 gigs or 2.5 gigs or even 800 megs of performance for video streaming. But when you consider that line noise and other external factors can diminish the throughput, we're going to want to start with the over-the-top performance to keep our final performance ahead of our application needs. Now, let's talk about G.hn when it is compared to HPAV. For those who don't remember, HomePlug, which is the most common cable alternative technology used today, is also known as HPAV. Not only do you get all of the advantages we covered in the comparison versus MoCA, but you also get additional improvements. Unlike HPAV, G.hn does not experience speed reductions the more nodes that are installed. This allows you to maintain consistent performance with your small to large deployments. Additionally, QoS enables packet priority by packet type, again, ensuring that your high priority video is treated as high priority traffic. As mentioned before, the NDIM technology maintains performance and stability by cooperating with other networks. G.hn can even coexist with HPAV. Although coexisting with HPAV does impact performance, transmission speeds average around 80 to 90 megs and never fall below 40 megs due to coexistence with HPAV. Here is a closer look at the coexistence with HPAV performance. As you can see, the average performance of G.hn is usually around 80 to 90 megs, with a minimum performance above 40 megs. HPAV is stuck around the 20 meg zone. Okay, now let's take a quick tour of the numbers. MIMO, CISO, gigabit support, all are assumed features, and lab peak performance doesn't mean a lot to me. It is the field application performance we are interested in. Minimum field performance of 50 megs with 35 to 111 megs UDP in throughput will ensure video, stability, and performance. Even at 35 megs, this is more than enough speed to provide 4K video without buffering. So here, we're going to go ahead and take a closer look at how this performance and stability is achieved. G.hn provides performance and stability by leveraging just a few key advantages. First, utilizing all 3 power line conductors, including phase, neutral, and ground, enhances both performance and stability. A ground conductor is not required, but it is necessary to achieve the best performance and stability. Selective retransmission maintains performance and stability even on noisy power grids. Advanced QoS ensures your video receives high priority during transmission, and finally, the NDIM features maintains performance and stability even in the deployment of neighboring networks on the same power grid. Now, I know I've been talking a lot about G.hn has performance and stability features as it relates to power grid installations. The reason I'm focusing on this is because power grid versus coax, a power grid installation versus a coax installation is going to be very different. G.hn is not going to have anywhere near as much noise and interference to contend with. Having stability and performance over coax cable is super easy for a technology like G.hn. Back to multifamily dwellings. Traditionally, power line adapters have to share the total available bandwidth with neighboring networks. This includes networks that are separated with separate electrical meters. Although the meters do reduce crosstalk, they don't eliminate it completely. If you have 4 apartments in the same building, each apartment is going to get about 1/4 of the available bandwidth. This is no longer the case with G.hn. Here in this illustration, you can see that HomePlug technology experiences a substantial performance hit when multiple networks are in use simultaneously. Although G.hn also experiences a performance drop, it is nowhere near the reduction experienced by HomePlug. Next, we're going to take a closer look at what a typical deployment may look like. Here is a sample of how Comtrend's GCA6000 would be used to take advantage of the fact that in this environment has unused coax throughout the living space. We have a standard modem or ONT as the gateway. Using a single GCA6000 unit to support the connection to the Ethernet network and multiple GCA6000s at the remote sites, we are able to deliver video-grade connectivity throughout the deployment area. Here in this slide, it is a similar deployment. Using a single PG9172 on the gateway end, we are able to deploy multiple power grid units throughout the deployment area. The PG series of devices also includes wireless options and PoE options. This is something to consider when you are planning out your next installation. Before I continue on to the specific products, we should take some time to hear from our partners in this. Sarah?
All right, at this time, Bob Sanders, the president at SkitterTV, will speak a little bit about his experience with Comtrend's G.hn product.
Hi, thank you very much. I want to thank the entire Comtrend team for putting this together. Skitter's goal is to help our member companies provide a profitable video service, and probably one of the biggest costs is actually the installation of the video product at the customer's location. So we have to install set-top boxes. You talked about Cat5 or Cat6 wiring. That's been a pretty traditional way to do IPTV. Personally, for years, I've looked at all of the different power, Ethernet over power adapters, and always with great hope and without any success. And personally, I was able to test the G.hn adapters from Comtrend, and actually for the first time in my own house, actually was able to deliver very high-speed internet to parts of the home which I never was able to in the past. So my personal experience is great with this, and then we actually asked some of our members to do a little bit of testing of this, who I think are going to speak in a little bit. So again, thank you, Comtrend, and a great product, and thank you for putting this together for the Skitter member companies.
Thank you so much, Bob. Now our guest, Mark Kilberg, who's the Director of Satellite Services from Preston Telephone Company, will go ahead and speak.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, we hear you perfect.
Great.
Yes, go ahead, Mark, whenever you're ready.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Yeah. So our experience with the GCA6000 has been a good one. We really started deploying these for two reasons: one out of necessity, and one as a time saver. The necessity part, oftentimes in newer homes and even sometimes in older, we have situations where there's coax running to a TV in a garage, for example, or above a fireplace, and it's all enclosed ceiling, and the existing coax is tacked down, and it's just very difficult in some of those cases for us to get there with Cat5. So that's one of the reasons that we did this. It does save us a lot of time, and again, in some cases, it's just the only way we can do it. Last week we had a situation where a customer had a TV in the garage and their coax had gone outside underneath the siding, no basement underneath it. There was just really no pretty way for us to get Cat5 wire out there. So the GCA6000 was the answer, and it worked really well. You can see in this little slide here that they have up. This was a super unique situation. If you see there on the second one down, the customer had spliced onto a data cable, had spliced coax end onto it, and that's how they were sending the signal previously before we got there. And there was really no good way to do away with that, so we just used it. And I didn't know if it would work or not, but sure enough, it worked really well, and they're not having any issues with it. So that was a good deal. I have not used the power line units. It was interesting for me to watch that. I think that's something that we could use in the future.
All right, thank you so much, Mark. We appreciate you taking the time to go ahead and speak. At this time, we're going to hand it back to Rich, and he's going to go over our products.
Thank you, Sarah. I guess it's time for product family overview. Okay, since telcos typically leave the coax untouched in their standard installations, you have the ability to utilize that unused shielded cable for your deployments. That means, why not? The builders already did all of the work. We should take advantage of the labor. This is where the GCA 6000 coax adapter comes into play. As you saw in the coax deployment slide, the GCA 6000 is designed specifically to meet the demanding needs of video over existing coax cable networks. Another option available to us is using the power grid and power outlets. Although not shielded like coax, the main advantage is the number of outlets in any room compared to the number of coax drops. And again, the builder has already laid out an entire grid of copper cable for the electrical system. We might as well take advantage of it for our own needs. The Comtrend PG917 series of power grid units are able to provide significant improvements in connectivity, designed specifically to deliver video-grade performance and stability over a traditional power grid unit. This series of products includes the PG9172 gigabit adapter. This is the workhorse of the product line, providing 800 plus megs of performance, coupled with the gigabit Ethernet port enables this device to exceed the performance needs of even the most demanding video experience. The Wi-Fi version gives you the option to either start or extend Wi-Fi networks to the most remote locations within any installation. This unit is a valuable addition when you consider how much time a field tech spends trying to access the remote corners of a customer's house. This takes time and ultimately reduces the revenues for the telco. In a few seconds, you can use the same G.hn network you have set up for video to also provide customers complete wireless coverage from basement to attic and garage to outbuildings. The PoE option is a versatile option. The PoE connection can be used to connect and power remote IP surveillance cameras or IP telephones or just about any other PoE-powered network device. Now on the coming soon front, we have an AC wireless version as well, which is ideal for high bandwidth wireless applications. So when wireless connectivity is a requirement for your video deployments, the PG9173 AC wireless power grid adapter will be your best option. Since this product is coming soon, the model name and product design are still subject to change. And remember, Comtrend offers a full suite of products for your broadband deployment needs. Beyond G.hn, we also have iGMP switches to address multicast issues, wireless bridges and AC11 wireless gateways to support wireless video for your customers. We also offer a varying model of ADSL, VDSL, bonded, and fiber-to-the-home modems and routers for your residential CPE deployments. On the business side, we have IP surveillance systems, as well as wireless access points for indoor, outdoor, hospitality, and business deployments. So whether you're lighting up a local church, corner business, or city park, we have the devices you may need. And finally, almost all Comtrend products are TR69 manageable. With our partnership with FinePoint, we have the most powerful and feature-rich ATS system on the market. Okay, Sarah, I think that does it for the presentation.
Yes, it does. Thanks, guys. So at this time, we'll open it up to any questions you may have. I'm going to hand this over to Dan Knopfler, who's presenting the questions that you guys have been asking throughout the webinar.
Hey everyone, this is Dan Knopfler, Director of Marketing, and I brought Joe Pesci, Comtrend Sales Engineer, to answer some of the questions. We'll give you a few seconds to, or maybe a minute or so, to send us your questions. We've got one in now from, here it is, Joe. How many devices can be connected to the G.hn products?
Hey Dan, you can actually have up to 32 devices on coax and 16 on Powerline.
All right. Number two, do the devices come pre-paired?
If they are bundled as a pair, then yes, they will be pre-paired. However, if they're purchased in singles, then they are not.
Excellent.
But I should note, pairing them is actually a very simple process.
Is there plans for a power line unit that can pass through power to not even the power port? I can also answer that one. Yes, there is. It'll be the 9172P. I don't have a date on that, but that's in process. Can coax and power line products coexist?
Yes, they can coexist. They're actually connecting back into a switch, so the medium is different for both, leaving them the easy capability of coexisting.
All right, and these are still coming in. How do splitters affect bandwidth on a coax cable system?
So some splitters can affect bandwidth because they do begin to reduce the overall signaling from the device. There are some splitters that do not have dB reduction that allow it to simply pass without the loss of signal strength. However, as you move through additional splitters, and we're going to assume that they either have a wire connected or a cap on those unused portions, they should work perfectly fine.
Okay, that might also address another question was, can the GCA 6000 model go through splitters?
Yes. Again, so it can go through splitters without a problem. You just need to look for those splitters that reduce the signal levels. Those, of course, again, can reduce some of the bandwidth because of that reduction in signal leveling. However, they will still pass.
All right, well, I'm going to hand this back to Sarah for closing.
All right, looks like there are no more questions, so this concludes the webinar. We want to thank you all again for joining us. If you need to reach out to either SkitterTV or Comtrend, again, we will be sending that presentation out tomorrow with all of our contact information. All right, well, have a good rest of your day. Thank you for joining us.